Hello everyone, this is Vijay Menon with you. Welcome back to Easy Chapters. In our last video, we discussed about poetic devices and we discussed 4 literary devices: similes, metaphors, personification and rhyme. In today's video, we are continuing the same topic with few more literary devices. Let's get started. We all know what are poetic devices, isn't it? Poetic devices are special language tools that are used to enhance the beauty of the poem. It will give a rhythm to the poem and makes it more attractive or more beautiful, right? So, such a device is alliteration. So, alliteration is a poetic device or literary device in which the first letter, the first consonant or the sound of every word, the beginning of each word or most of the words will be starting with the same consonant or having a same sound. That is known as alliteration. Let us see the examples. So we discussed that alliteration is a poetic tool in which most of the words in a sentence starts with the same consonant, right? Let us see the example. We told that the tongue twisters are the examples of alliterations, and here I have written few tongue twisters. Let us see. Our first example is she sells seashells by the seashore. Isn't it very famous? So here, let us see the words. She is the first word that is starting with yes consonant. Now the second word is sells. That also starts with the same consonant yes. Now see. Here also the consonant is same. Shells is the next word. There also starting consonant is yes only. By the seashore. By and the. These two words are not having the same consonant. We can ignore that part. Now again, sea is there. That starts with yes and shore. That word also starts with the same consonant. Yes. So, most of the words in this sentence are starting with the same consonant. Yes. Now the second example. Betty bought some butter. Here also you have to see the sentence words. The first word is Betty, which starts with B consonant. Now the second word is boughter, that also starts with the same consonant B. Bought. Here also the consonant is same. Some butter. In some there is no consonant repetition, but in butter again the consonant is same. So that also is an example for alliteration. Now the last example. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Here the first consonant is P. Piper. Here also the consonant is repeating. Pickled. Picked. Consonant is same. A peck. Peck here the consonant is C. Same only. Of pickled. Here also the consonant is P. And peppers. That also starts with the same consonant P. So these are the examples of alliterations. Our next literary device is hyperbole. Hyperbole is a literary device that is used to give extreme exaggeration to something, to make something or to present something looks much greater, much bigger than it really is. That is known as hyperbole. Let us see the examples. Our first example. I am so tired I could sleep a whole year. Now, what is a hyperbole? Hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration to show something is greater than in real, right? So here, what is a fact? I am so tired. That is a fact. But how I am presenting that I could sleep a whole year? Is it possible? We may wish that we could sleep a whole year because of our tiredness, but in practical sense, that is not possible. It is just an exaggeration to show the extent of our tiredness, right? So that is an example of hyperbole. Now the second example. I am so hungry I could eat an elephant. Again you can see an exaggeration here. The fact is I am so hungry that we mean to say, but for that we are showing an exaggeration, that is I could eat an elephant. Is that possible? No. Whatever be the level of our hunger, we are not able to eat food beyond a limit. So here also we can see an exaggeration there. So it's an example of hyperbole. Now the third one. I have told you a million times. This sentence is very familiar for everyone, right? Our parents, our teachers, everybody will be telling this thing when they are very much upset with us. Right? We might be telling something many times, but not for a million times for sure, right? So these are examples of hyperbole. So hyperbole is a literary tool that is used to give extreme exaggeration for something than in real. So let's move on to the next topic. Our next literary tool is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a literary tool. Here you can see that the word will be mimicking the sound of that particular word. That is, when we are pronouncing a particular word, it will be having a sound, and that sound will be matching to the sound produced by that particular word. Bit confused, right? Let's explain onomatopoeia with the help of an example. The word is zipper, or simply we call it as zip, right? So how we pronounce this word zip, and when we are using this zip, it will be producing a sound. A sound will be heard, right? And how is that sound? That sound will be much resembling to the pronunciation of the word zip. Let's cross check our example with a zip. So how we pronounce the word zip? Let's see how the sound is coming using a zip. Isn't it the sound resembling? The sound produced by a zip is somewhat matching with the pronunciation of the word zip. Let us see one more example. Our next example is the word beep. How we are pronouncing the word beep, and how is the sound in real? Isn't it similar? Let's see some examples of onomatopoeia. The sentence is the bomb blasted, which is a word here. Blasted is a literary tool, onomatopoeia, and let us see how is the sound of blast in real. Isn't it the sound of the blast and the pronunciation of the word blast similar? Let us see some more examples. Our next example, the phone was ringing. Here, which is the word onomatopoeia? Ringing or ring is a word, literary tool, that is considered as onomatopoeia here. And let's see how is the real sound of the word ringing. Isn't it similar? Let's see another example. The lion roared loudly. So here, which one is the poetic device, onomatopoeia? It is a word roar. Now let us see how is the sound of a lion when it roars. Just see the resemblance between the sound, how the word is mimicking the sound. Our next literary tool is imagery. Imagery is a literary tool that influences our five senses, or it will evoke sensory images to the reader. Here the writer will paint a picture of his feelings in front of the reader, so that the reader will be getting the reflection of what all feelings the poet is experiencing. Here the poet will be giving a portrayal of his experiences that are very difficult to express through mere words. Let's see the examples of imagery. We can see plenty of examples of imagery in nature poems. So let us see a few examples here. So what is imagery? Let me remind you. Imagery are literary devices that will be evoking our sensory images, or it will be influencing our senses. Our first example, the golden and red autumn leaves were fallen everywhere. You might have seen such a picture in some photographs, in some movies and all, right? So after reading this sentence, we are able to develop such an image in our mind. We are able to visualize that sentence, right? A street where golden, red or yellow colored autumn leaves have fallen. Such a scene is coming to our mind after reading that sentence, right? So such words are known as imagery. Now the second sentence, the sweet smell of freshly baked cake filled the air. After reading this sentence, we are able to remember the smell of bakes like baked bun, cakes, etc. So it is producing a sensory image to us, or it is influencing our sense organ nose, this sentence. Now the third sentence, the crickets were chirping all night. Now after reading this sentence, what we feel? Can we hear the sound of crickets at night? We are able to imagine, or we are able to remember the sound of the crickets making sound at night. So it is influencing the sense organ ear. Now let us see a few more examples. The fourth sentence, children eat green mango with salt and chilies. Now can you tell me which sense organ is influenced here? It is our tongue, right? Many of us may start thinking about the combination of green mangoes with chili and salt and may start watering inside our mouth, right? So this is also an example of imagery. Now the last sentence, the slimy fish jumped out of my hand. Now what is it about? It's about a slimy fish. What is a slimy fish? Slimy fish means a fish that is having excess mucus or having a soapy texture. Such a fish, when we are catching such a fish, what will happen? It will be jumping out of our hands very quickly. So which is a sense organ that can experience this nature of fish? It is our skin. So it is influencing our sense organ skin. So we discussed about imagery, the poetic device, and also the examples of imagery. Let's see the next literary tool, that is irony. What is irony? Irony is a literary tool that is used when there is a contrast between the reality and the expectation. So here we can't take the literal meaning as such because the matter will be present in a very polished way, but the fact will be just the opposite. The statement, persons or situations that are described here won't be real in nature. The reality will be just the opposite of what is stated here. Let's see the examples. The fire station is on fire. What it means? Can we take the literal meaning of the sentence? No, we don't have to take the literal meaning of the sentence. There is a hidden meaning for the sentence. What it is? The fire station is on fire means when there is a fire, it is a fire station or the people working with fire station are about to help others. But they are on fire, they themselves are in trouble. Then how they are going to help others? This is the meaning of the sentence, right? So the matter is conveyed in a different or in a concealed manner. That is irony. Now the second one, the police station gets robbed. Similar sentence it is. The police station gets robbed means or police station or police, they are meant to help others when they are in danger, when they are getting robbed. They themselves are in trouble. That is the meaning that sentence is conveying. Now the third sentence, his heart is as soft as iron. It is a very polished sentence, right? His heart is as soft as iron. We all know that iron is not soft, but still we are making the sentence as he is very soft but as iron. So the matter is presented in a bit polished way, but we are telling the reality also as iron. So these are sentences where we are hiding the real part and we are just making the opposite sense. This is known as irony. In today's video, we discussed few poetic devices. They are alliteration, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, imagery, and irony. Alliteration we already discussed, that is the repetition or the occurrence of the same consonant in the starting of the words in a sentence is known as alliteration. Now hyperbole is the extreme exaggeration that is shown in a sentence. Onomatopoeia is a mimicking of the sound of a word. Now imagery means it is producing sensory images to a reader, and irony is just presenting the matter in an opposite way. That is, there is a contrast between reality and the expectation. So there is no need of confusion between hyperbole and irony. Hyperbole is the fact is the straight fact only, but it is presented in an exaggerated manner. But in irony, the matter is presented in just the opposite way. That is the difference. So we discussed about literary tools. Hope this portion is clear for you. If you like the video, please share with your friends and subscribe the channel. I'll be back with another video soon. Till then, stay safe. Bye.